This hangout is live on air. Welcome to Ira and Allison's Murder Mystery Live commentary track. This is the first time ever that we're going to sit down and do a commentary track live on the air for everybody to see as we go. Yay! Hey, we got sound effects. How about that? All right. So we're going to get started here in just a few minutes, but first I'd like to introduce those who are able to make it to the chat, starting with the producer, director, writer, and IRA, Mr. Ryan Willer.
I don't get a sound effect.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Ryan Willer!
That's better. That's better. All right.
And, of course, we've got the beautiful Kelly Ann Simpson, who plays the part of Allison.
Oh, I like that sound effect. Hello, everyone.
All right, so without much more further ado, let's get right into the movie, Ira and Allison's Murder Mystery. If you are watching at home, just a reminder, this is being streamed live over the internet, so we may curse, we may use foul language, we may get naked. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Either way, it is live, and so if the movie cuts out or if anything happens, just stick around. We'll start it again or something. In the meantime, here we go. It is time for the movie, Ira and Allison's Murder Mystery. All right, my name is Joe Cook. I am the producer. Oh, shit, felt that up. All right, let's start again. Here we go. Sorry. If you're watching at home, that was a technical difficulty. Like I said, this is a live event, and I'm going to remind my contestants or my other Google Hangouters, make sure you click my box, my picture on the bottom bar there, so that way you see my screen only, and we won't have this problem again. So let's try to get back into Allison's Murder Mystery. I'm not sure what that is. Anyway, my name is Joe Cook. I am the producer of the film. We've got Ryan Willer, who is also a producer, director, actor, and Ira, as well as Kelly. Go ahead, guys. Introduce yourselves.
Hello, Ryan Willer. We're here. We're starting.
Hello, Kelly Simpson.
So I'm already a little bit behind. I wanted to say something cool about these intros. We've never had cool intros like this. I think it's kind of neat. All three of them, like bam, bam, bam. It's like a real movie.
Yeah, we, our Todd and Nerd Boy made one specially for this movie, the first time.
It's interesting doing this on camera because I have to remember not to like pick my teeth or do something embarrassing.
Yeah. It's just going to be an experience. This will be fun.
There's a first time for everything. We're embracing technology here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we get into this pretty quick here, this opening scene.
Of course I'm okay with it. It's been fun for a while. Why wouldn't I feel okay?
Yeah, the movie definitely like jumps right in, and this opening shot has always given me like a little bit of a, it's a little shaky. It kind of sets up like what are we seeing, what's happening, but it's a good start, I think, to a movie.
Yeah, I think so. And if Heidi Rhodes gets connection here, we'll let her talk. Yeah, we should probably say we might have a special guest joining us at some point during this, possibly.
I'm going to focus on the meeting tomorrow. Bernie Sharp's going to be here. That's going to be my priority right now. My focus is all my brain can handle.
Excuse me while I turn down the movie just a little bit. It's blasting my eardrums out.
That's okay. So here Heidi Rhodes. I was just about to say here. It was fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, maybe my favorite performance in the movie right here because of things that happen later with her character that we'll get into.
She's one of my top 7 favorites.
Yeah, she's definitely one of my top 10 favorite actresses in this movie.
I may have taken a few out just so that we're clear.
Yeah, you did actually. I'd probably do that too. No, I like her performance, and even this little bit right here where she gets kind of teared up. Kelly, you were with me when we auditioned her, and she actually added a lot to this character that I originally didn't even put in the script.
Yeah, she did. She really did. I remember seeing her, and after she left the audition, I was like, well, she has to play Martha.
Yeah, she's got to play Martha.
She has to.
Yeah.
When I got that call, Ryan's like, "Hey, this girl did some pretty amazing things. We should go back and look at the script." And sure enough, what she brought to the audition made it into the movie.
Yeah, the big stuff she did will come later, but there was some scenes even in like when she gets all teary-eyed. It didn't quite go like that in the original script. So even in this scene, some of her own stuff.
Just to toot my own horn, because I do that, I really love that picture on the wall back there. Finally, production design.
Oh, yeah.
Picture, great jewelry, great setting. I mean, it's a nice set right there.
Yeah, and Joe, something we didn't talk about that you and I noticed just maybe a few weeks ago, if anyone picked up on the kids' book that was on the calendar.
Oh, that's right. I think it actually comes in later, too, so we'll see if we can catch it again.
Yeah, it's like a Dora the Explorer kids' book.
And for those who are watching at home live, they might actually get to see me hover my mouse over it and show it.
Yeah, because I don't know where you guys are talking about.
We didn't notice it through all the times we've been editing this thing. It wasn't until just a few weeks ago Joe texted me, "Did you notice there's a Dora the Explorer book?"
This is my debut as a voiceover artist.
Mm-hmm.
Brian probably has a funny story, so he tells me, "Joe, we gotta re-record the voiceovers for whatever reason," which is a whole nother story we'll get into another time. So I'm in Albuquerque, and I've been having a couple drinks for work. There's nothing to do in Albuquerque but drink. So I literally recorded 15 voiceovers, ranging from Elvis to my Boston accent, which is not a Boston accent, and I sent them all to Ryan. I felt so bad for this guy. I listened to him the next day, and I was like, "Oh my God, those are horrible."
They were, yeah.
There was obviously one or two good ones.
Well, maybe, yeah. I don't know. One of them made it into the movie. We just heard it.
Now's a good time, actually, to thank Gina and Paul for their house. I mean, honestly, this set, everything we do here is amazing, and it's just a huge hand to them. You know, they're the reason why this came together.
It's true.
Definitely a shout out to them.
Yeah, how many people would let us take over their house for 2 weekends in a row for free?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, yeah. They left.
So there's John. So let's introduce. There's John Zuber and John D'Antona, two of my favorite male characters in this. Of the 5 that there are, or 7, or how many ever there is. But,
yeah, it was interesting working with Zuber for the first time on this level because he's always kind of been an acquaintance of us, but we've never really worked with him on this level, and he was really good here.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to work with.
And obviously, John D'Antona. Props to him for working with amateurs like us. Very, very prolific. A lot of experience. This guy.
The best compliment I can give to John D'Antona and Tiffany, for that matter, who just went upstairs in this shot. Tiffany Hume is. I had a friend who watched this, and he said, "Are they Russian? Or how did you get Russians for this?" And I was like, "No, this is accents. They don't speak like this at all." And so that's just a huge hand to what they did and what they brought to this. Performance with these characters.
Yeah, their accents were amazing.
I have seen many places. I travel for my business, so he's my right-hand man.
Right-hand man. This opens up the movie. It is a little bit. I was always a little concerned that this part of it was a little slow because but it really is setting up everything that's about to happen. I mean, we know at this point there's a party tomorrow. Bernie Sharp is coming, and that we know now that there are songwriters and they have some money, and this is a Beverly Hills apartment, not a house. So.
And then Ira tends to be a little bit high-strung.
Yes, yeah. Oh, my favorite sound effect.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Our neighbor, she's in the best relationship.
Mildly.
Oh, Martha actually ran into her last time she was over here with us. We were thinking of inviting her to the
So that sound effect has changed since the premiere. Ryan did a great job in re-recording it. The premiere sound effect, it actually sounded like something happened that would give away the later end. But I think you did a good job in re-recording this, and it's a good sound effect.
Yeah, I recorded that. That's actually my voice, the male voice on that other end. And then
Who's the female voice?
it's a girl named Caitlin who I work with at the store, who is an actress trying to be at Moore Park College. And
Probably the best ad lib of the movie.
yeah, we recorded it. And let's get into. We didn't talk about Tiffany Hume. That's Tiffany Hume who's right there. We were talking about her, but I remember real big on her costume choices. She was very meticulous.
Yes.
I know Joe was noticing that as well with her detail.
Very detailed, very good. Yeah, that probably that line that John Zuber just delivers right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Probably one of the funniest ad libs in the movie. Just like the way he throws that out there.
I don't remember what take it was on, but he did it. It made me laugh. I broke.
Yeah.
Now this was the first shot of the movie, right? That when we recorded the movie, this was the first thing we did.
Yes.
It was either this scene or the next scene, but this is you could tell because it's sharp. It's lit well. We're energized. We haven't been on set for 60 hours. I love this shot.
This is a good one.
I remember Joey just kept telling Ryan and I to get closer, get closer, get closer. Because on screen, it looks like there's quite a bit of distance between the two of us, but I was probably like 2 inches from Ryan's face. At least that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when you watch that in a movie, you're always like uncomfortable how close they are, but it's just because of the space you have to work with. It's always like, oh, so uncomfortably close.
I was going to say the one other thing we were talking about, how that first scene sets up everything. You also find out about the sister who comes in later. That's another
Right.
chunk of that plays in that opening scene.
Again, I have to give it to set design, Anna, who did a good job, and you'll see it sometimes in this shot. There's a picture on the nightstand that you don't see a lot, but it was the small details where we actually took a picture of Kelly and her current boyfriend Josh, and we actually removed Josh and put Ryan in there, and you would never even know that they weren't in the picture together. And there's another picture in the hallway where the same thing happens, and we're gonna we got Heidi.
We got Heidi.
Heidi, welcome. Maybe. But Heidi may or may not be there, but we're gonna continue on. But
Yeah, Anna did an amazing job with the pictures and all of the set direction.
yeah. I mean, when you look at that's the one thing we really wanted to accomplish with this movie that we hadn't done with the last two is we really wanted to focus on production design, set design, making sure everything was supposed to be where it's at, and I think we nailed it. I really do. I with the exception of maybe some of Ryan's costumes, because like I don't know what is this shirt. I mean, I would have dressed him a little differently, but it works. It works very well, and it turned out very good. And I think that's a huge hand to Anna and the team that we had to do this with.
I think so.
I love how you just no, we're not having sex tonight, honey.
Right?
Roll over and go to bed.
Poor Allison.
I can't get no. No. Anyway. I'm going to criticize this scene a little bit, and it's partly on me that I'm criticizing. I wish we could have taken this take again. Like, you guys hop out of bed, bam, you're like full on. We're just running down the road. It's like you guys just woke up hungover, and you're not that hungover, but like I woken up in the morning. I never pop out of bed like that. You know.
Well, you drink more than normal people.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I drink more. Oh, there's that picture we're talking about right there behind Kelly to the right. If you can see my mouse, it's woo. If you can't see my mouse, it's there. Just trust me. Those pillows, if I recall, had this crazy plastic in them, so they were very loud when you would pick them up and you'd move them. It was very loud.
Yeah, it was.
And Nick did a good job of recording the audio in that and not picking that up too much. He did a good job in some places. Was that a slight at him? Sorry, I didn't mean that. I take it back. I love how the color, though, this is a nice morning color. The last one was a nice night color. Again, the other thing we really wanted to focus on is making the lighting feel good and right, and that the design of the shots were all color balanced and color balanced well. And I think we did a good job with that.
Yeah, I think so, especially in these bedroom scenes.
Oh, there's that picture in the hallway, right? The one.
Oh, yeah. Well, that whole wall right there is actually.
Yeah. Oh, the gold record, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Again, not to toot my horn, but I filmed this scene.
You did, and so Yeah, this is where it kind of just takes off.
So this starts the movie, in my opinion. This is where the movie finally begins, right? At this moment.
Well, yeah, at the
Yeah.
13-minute mark or so, yeah, this
Which
is
is
where
right.
the laughs really started rolling in.
Now, this is the very last day, the very last shot, and the very last thing we do on this movie, minus a pickup or two we had to do later.
Yeah, and well, because we filmed it the weekend before, and it didn't work because we got a little bit behind, but it worked out that we did it like this. But I'll let you guys kind of take it away on the agreement that we had to come to as to when to film this.
Well, okay, so I love Joey, and he lives in Arizona now, and I realized that he had to go home after we finished this shot. Well, it was Saturday night at like 2 or 3 in the morning, and he wanted to have us back there at 6 a.m., ready to go, shoot this thing, done. And I was fried, completely exhausted, and Ryan was fried. And I said, if you want to do this whole scene in one take, you need to let us get more sleep. And so we agreed that we started at like 10 a.m. or something like that so that we could get some actual sleep underneath us. And we pulled it off. We practiced it a bunch of times, and I don't remember how many takes it took us, but between all the camera movements and the lines and the movements that we had to make as actors and everything, it was really, it came together really nicely.
I recall that, and yes, I probably was wrong in saying let's get up at 6 a.m., and I would not have been any good either that next morning. But at the time, I felt like it was the right thing. You know, it's funny. This shot, I recall, right after we finally finished this shot, it was like I predicted exactly how that morning was going to go. We were going to hit take 4, and everybody was going to start panicking. We were going to hit take 7, and everybody's going to be like, that's it, we're done. We can't do it this way. We got to break it down into individual shots, and then we're going to nail it by take 8 or 9, and that's exactly what happened. But I recall right afterward, the sun, a cloud kind of covers the sun, and Nick wanted to do it again, and I was like, no, we're done. I don't care how good the light looks, we're done. It's over, game over, we're done. We finished it.
Well, and I think, too, I mean, you say everybody, and really it's everybody but the 3 people involved here, which is Kelly and myself and you, Joe, who, you know, we've done 3 movies now together, so I think it was the right thing to do to just have you kind of take over for Steve as DP, because it's just kind of the 3 of us doing our thing right here, you know. I mean, yeah, Nick is involved, he's doing the mic, but I think this was just a boom mic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There wasn't really a whole lot of, you know, stuff that he had to do on his end, and so that was definitely the way to go. I mean, you know, the way I kind of like to do things, and it's not that dissimilar from the scene with Vanessa, Kate, and Shuttersome, you know, where it's just a long take, so this was definitely the way to go, I think.
I agree. I think it was definitely challenging and exhausting, but
Yeah.
it looks amazing when we got it. It was fantastic.
So why don't we mention now our other actor who's lying there on the floor, Desmond Shaw.
Oh yeah.
Desmond Shaw is a trooper. I give that guy an A++ for patience. I mean, this guy comes in at 7 in the morning, gets put in makeup, and then has to wait almost 4 hours before his first shot, and then 6 hours again till his next shot, and all he does is lie there.
Right?
Yeah, that's all. Truly an amazing patience.
Yeah, and then Sarah Vanis right here had to do a little bit of timing, and I'm not quite sure how we set that up because, you know, there's like 5 or 6 minutes go by before she pops in here, and I think she was watching on the monitor, I think.
Right, yeah, I think she was in the garage watching on the monitor, and then would come in as soon as she was cued.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, you know, it's somewhat blown out, but we had curtains and black covering and everything to back that, you know, to like cover that up, and it still turned out really good. I remember the first time we opened the door and it was like, whoa, where'd she go? There's nothing there but white light. Again, a great job in set design, I must say, and I love that all the props are in the exact right spot. No matter what anybody says,
Yeah.
where they belong. It's a whole little inside story. Me and the director of photography, Steve Orlo, had a little tiff about whether or not things were right where they were supposed to be. Of course, I was right, as you would expect for the production designer to be right. And it was kind of a funny moment.
We were all so tired and snippy with each other.
Oh, by that time, there was a few of you I wanted to kill. I wanted to name names.
There's some stories we'll go into later about our crew, mostly during the party scene, which was the night before this when we were filming, which kind of led into the story about, when are we going to film this, because we were done at 2 a.m. and I think by the end of that party scene night, which we'll get to later, it was pretty much just me and Joe kind of running the camera and doing everything because everybody else went to bed.
Everybody crashed.
There's only so much you could put somebody through. We maximized that, no doubt about it. I mean, when you think about it, we shot this movie in 4 days, 22-hour days on one day, 12 hours. I mean, we shot 60 hours. We shot this movie in 60 hours in 4 days. That's a tough schedule. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think tough really is the right word, Joe.
Now in the theater, huge laugh right there with the Siri voice.
Yeah, at this point, people are really, I think, starting to get into the movie. I mean, I think this is where it takes off.
Oh, yeah, all this time we've been talking during this scene. I mean, so many funny lines. Obviously, we can't pinpoint each and every one, but we were getting a ton of laughs during this.
I like that moment right there when you're like, "Dear God, woman."
There's a line in there. I think it's, again, we were talking about a lot of stuff there, but when she has Ira pull the wallet out, she tells him, like, stop being a baby or man up and get the wallet. And I go, fine. And I bend down and I get it. There was a number of people who I work with who came to see the movie, and we were talking about it afterwards. And I asked them what their favorite part was. I said, what'd you like about it? So there's a part where she yells at you and you go, fine. And I said, okay. They said, you were just kind of funny when you said fine. I said, that was your favorite part? So, yeah, that was really funny when you said fine. And I'm just thinking to myself, all that work that doing on that script, all those lines of dialogue, and they like the way I say fine.
Right. All you had to do is fine.
Fine, and that was it. It was like the funniest part of the movie.
This begins the porn scene.
Oh, God, yeah, I'll let Joey.
You can explain that, Joey.
Yeah, so I've watched this movie more times than I could count. And from the moment where they run down the stairs to where they bring the body and put it in the closet, it literally sounds like a porn scene. It starts as she goes down the stairs, and it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, as she's running down the stairs. So her diaphragm is bouncing, so it just has that sound of like, as she goes down the stairs, right? And then it's just like these two have this horribly dirty bed talk, like, where should we hide it? Where do you want to put it? Put it in the closet. Just don't look at it. Just don't touch it.
But now, filming this scene was pretty exhausting now.
Yes.
Yeah, Desmond had war wounds after this. I mean, he had big bruises on his arms because you can see where Ryan is grabbing on his arm, pulling him up the stairs.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ryan had to do a lot of the work because I don't have the upper body strength to lift a man up the stairs.
Not to mention, you're in a stairway. Where are you gonna? I mean, you're standing on the weird position and like.
Yeah, I'm wearing heels. Like, it was horrible. Yeah. So poor Ryan had to really man up and hoof him upstairs because I could not help much at all.
This was his year once we got up here.
In the porn scene, apparently Ira calls this thing Marco because he says, "Come on, Marco, work with me." Mm-hmm. I like this. It's getting stiff. Sorry, it's just my thing. It's just what I see.
You've seen this too many times, I think.
Oh yeah. So now more huge laughs right here. Where this got a lot of laughs. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I've heard that before. Get it off! Get it off! Get it off!
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about the porn scene. But yes, this is a scene of porn. This is my big box of porn scene. This goes on Boner Jams 09.
Oh boy.
Honey, for God's sakes. Oh, I love it. But no, seriously, if you listen to it and just close your eyes, it's a porn scene. Just close your eyes, okay? Sorry.
That sounds like a...
Cracks me up every time. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy! All right, if you pulled the drinking card, Ira sounds like a bitch. That's where you drink.
I've already missed about 2 of them in that opening scene.
Yeah. And then if you hear the word Shankman and you got the Shankman card, be prepared to drink because it's going to happen a lot.
Right now,
Yeah, Shankman, Shankman. I love the sound effects you added on this, Ryan, where he's like from outside, like banging on the door. It really fills up the scene. I love it.
So we got Brian Donahue here.
Brian Donahue, guy got 3 stitches tonight, and he's still working.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He wanted to be here, but he couldn't because he's opening a coffee shop. And I saw on Facebook he got 3 stitches. I was like, all right, he gets to be here tonight. And he's like, no, they're still making me work. Double sketch. It's 10 a.m. So this scene is actually shot at night, and you kind of can tell, but really you can't. I mean, it's a pretty good job of masking the fact that we didn't get it done in the daytime like we had hoped. That we're shooting at night now.
Well, this took a lot of takes. I mean, this was one of the ones, I mean, maybe like around 10 takes. And, yeah, I don't remember what take we used, but there's some daylight issues. You'll see that little cut there, Joe, that we had to color balance when it jumps at the end of this scene. But if you really nitpick and look at the background, yeah, it's all light out there. We're flooding it in, but I still think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's only noticeable when you see above the door when you can see that it's dark outside. I color balanced the movie, and so it was a little bit hard to color balance it because it looks gold instead of blue.
Yeah.
So twice we show the knife here, and I'm not sure if people picked it up or not, but the murder weapon is sitting right there on the table.
Yeah.
But Bernie is such a big character that when he comes in, you just can't take your eyes off of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. Brian did a really good job with this.
There it is again, yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I think my wife just came home. My dog's going nuts in the background. My wife just finally came home. We went to a baseball game tonight. I left her there. I'm a bad husband. Dental floss, come on.
This was another one of those times where I felt like I was like on Brian Donahue, just as close to him as I possibly could be, because they were like, get closer, get closer, get closer.
Yeah, but it works right here because he's like freaked out. He's like, what's going on?
This is a great moment. Like, what's wrong with your woman?
I don't know. And Brian Donahue is such a booming presence, and I remember telling him, like, I want you to toss me around like a little rag doll, you know, like hand on the shoulder, and he does that real well. And
I've worked with Brian Donahue many times before, and when I read the script, I immediately was like, Brian Donahue would play this part so well.
Yeah,
Not other people, but you know what? As soon as you see Brian Donahue, you're gonna be like, yep, that's the guy. And he came in, if I recall, with the voice, didn't he?
Yeah, he had the voice done, and I remember I had been kind of thinking him too, but I couldn't remember his name because he auditioned with our film that never happened, The Bumbling Affinity, and we didn't think he was right for that part. And I remember thinking, what was the name of that big guy that came in, and you had kind of already thought of him yourself, and it was, immediately, we got to cast this guy.
As soon as he acts in this. So this is a pickup that we're going to do right here at about 3 a.m. right here. This is a 3 a.m. show.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, we had to do a short field of focus because we were worried about the background items and people would notice, oh, my God, continuity.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't even matter.
No, it didn't matter at all. So I like this here, yeah.
Yeah, and I also love, like, you can't really hear that. He's talking about zoning restrictions, and you hear the voice, which is actually Nick Meyer on the background. He goes, you were stoned. He's like, nobody gets stoned anymore. And he goes, you were this morning. It's a hilarious line that gets lost because you'd have to hear it about 5 times to catch it.
Yeah.
I would not like that at all. One of my favorite lines. I would not like that at all.
That's a funny one.
I really, yeah.
This insert was shot immediately after
The other one, right?
Like, we didn't even cut. They just said, come back in before the tequila.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
For canned music, the music does work really well. The symphony and what you created and the way you brought the movie together with just canned stuff is pretty good. I was hesitant at first, but in the end, it works out really good.
Yeah, that's Kevin MacLeod's music, and he's got a website in Incompetech.com that he's always writing new stuff that you can just use for your films. So.
Heidi made it! Oh,
Do we have
yeah.
Heidi?
I see Heidi!
Hi,
All
Heidi.
right.
I walked down to my friend's house.
So we can't
Okay.
see Heidi, but Heidi is here. Heidi Rhodes, welcome to the party. Oh, wait.
Can
We
you
might have
see?
lost her.
Oh, wait, she may be gone. Anyway, we're going to continue on. She'll hop in when she can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this really sets up the sexy red top that we're going to be talking about in a little bit.
Yeah, for the sister, she's not quite on yet. We got some more Bernie stuff, but this is where they realize, because once the body is in the house, they kind of forget everything that's going to be happening. So here they're realizing, oh, they still have to throw a party tonight.
Yeah, this is great.
And here we go. I don't want to talk about what's going to happen right now. I'll just.
Oh my God,
This is one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie. Oh!
Oh my
Oh,
God.
that made me feel so good. So, and partly the reason it made me feel so good is because Ryan and I just had a huge fight upstairs. Like, when we were shooting that other scene, I was getting angry, because you weren't listening to what I was saying, and then it was like, finally, you guys both kind of jumped on me, so I was like, fine, I'm out. I walked out. I'm like, I'm not going to get involved and do it however you want. I'm going to go downstairs and watch the monitor and pout. And then he gets hit in the balls just a few seconds later. Made my night. There's nothing better than forgiving somebody when you see them get shot, hitting the balls with a tennis ball.
That was a one take, and Joe kind of turned to Nick after it and said, or he turned to Nick and Steve and all the tech people, are we good? And I was just like, oh, we're good. We're not doing any more.
Oh, we're good.
When I look back at that, we originally wanted that to hit you in the face, and I was like, no, I can see disaster here. If he hits you in the face and you get a black eye and we have to film the rest of the movie with you a black eye, bad idea. Let's aim for somewhere a little, and then it's like, well, of course, comedically it makes more sense it would hit you in the balls. It'd be funnier, and it worked out great.
Well, I kept flinching. We tried the face, and just out of natural instinct, I would flinch. So I just told Brian, just throw it at me and don't tell me where, and let's just see what happens. And that way I won't know what's coming. And that was the one take. And, I mean, he just like baseball side-armed it and nailed me.
Nothing against Brian. He's not a baseball player. Let's just put it that way. So I was worried he was never going to hit you anyway. But, man, that first shot hit you dead square, and it was like, perfect, done, cut, we're good. Wrap, print that, we're good.
Oh, man. So, yeah, so that's the end of Bernie for a little while here. And here we have a little moment before we bring in Emily Edwards in a minute here.
Yeah.
I love the gold record, by the way. That was a poster printed with Jimi Hendrix lyrics above it. You could kind of tell it's printed, but it just does so well. Just everything we did with everything Anna did was golden. I'm just gonna say it. Anna is awesome, and Anna may not like me that much, but she's awesome. And that's another personal story that we'll get into another day. I am not giving that one away today. I may have said inappropriate things. We'll just leave it at that. First time I met her. Just saying.
Yeah.
So this is probably the worst lit scene in the entire movie, in my opinion. I did everything I could in the color balance, but it's just too dark. You can't. It just drives me nuts. Drives me nuts.
Oh, there was the light in the corner.
Oh yeah, the light, the infamous light in the corner.
But I don't even think it's turned on. We weren't even using it.
No,
It's
it's
just
Sitting there.
Oh, I thought this was the scene where you could see the book. I'm going to hover my mouse for those who are watching at home. There's a book in the earlier scene that sits right in here, and it's like Dora the Explorer or something.
Yeah.
Like, why would they have a Dora the Explorer book?
yeah, I never noticed that.
Yeah.
So what's coming up here again was a lot of ad-libbing with little things like this, because Ivor's going to try and defend himself and Allison, and we picked a bunch of random objects.
Random, cheesy, not usable for defense objects.
No. And for those who aren't like real familiar with film, we just took them from the front door into the kitchen. So that means we have to hear them all the way from the front door all the way into the kitchen. So what you don't see right now is there's actually a mic planted behind the counter. There's a mic in that same place where the Dora Explorer book is, and then there's another mic. So we've got 3 or 4 mics running just so we can hear these guys as they come through the door, down the hall, into the kitchen. I got to give Nick some serious props for, in a lot of places, for being able to pick up the audio as well as he did throughout when we're doing these long takes.
Yeah, being able to hide all the equipment.
Yeah.
The toilet flush, I'm going to give Nick a D- on the toilet flush. That's not what you just heard. That was another one, but
No, that was mine. So here
so I can give him that.
we got a funnel. That's
I love the funnel. That'll teach him. You get that funnel.
I love the umbrella. The umbrella.
This scored some laughs.
If you hadn't shot this in 60 hours and you had another 10 hours to work on, I would have loved to synchronize the behind the umbrella, above the umbrella, behind the umbrella, above the umbrella.
Yeah.
Now that we have Heidi kind of logged in, I wanted to get her opinion on what it's like. I know you've seen it once at the premiere, because we kind of saw your scene earlier on, and then you'll get a chance to talk about the party scene later. But throughout the middle chunk of this movie, your character's not here, and I know you had read all this and you knew what was going to be happening, but your opinions on seeing it for the first time, all this whole middle chunk of the movie.
It was nothing compared to reading it. It so much came to life, and the characters were so funny, and I mean, look at it right now. Just if that was a still photo, it would say so much about all 3 of those characters. At every moment.
Yeah.
It was just so active and full of life, and all of the physical comedy was really, really fun to be able to see instead of just read.
Yeah.
Emily does an amazing job. I was blown away by Emily. Everything from the choices she made, to some of the makeup, to the costuming, she really embraced this. Although I'm sure she'll joke with you, it wasn't that hard to be a kind of this whiny, bitchy character, but she embraced it pretty well.
Well, yeah, in this role, I mean, Emily did bring a lot to it. But this role was kind of, in a sense, tailored for her. I mean, and Joe, you've been with me from the start of writing this script. And aside from Kelly, who, was more or less going to play Allison, there was a couple scheduling issues. But this character of Margaret was pretty much handmade for Emily, and she took full advantage of that, I think.
And she did go viral right after we filmed the movie. So
for a week.
She has a picture with Will Smith, which is cooler than I've ever done. So I don't know. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Emily, shortly after we wrapped, was pregnant, and so she actually was in a coffee shop and ran into Will Smith and asked Will Smith to hold a sign that says "I'm pregnant," and took a picture with Will Smith and announced her pregnancy with Will Smith in the picture. That's A+ right there.
It went everywhere.
Yeah, it was on The Daily Show. I was just like, how come our movie's not done? We need to be pimping this. And by the time our movie came out, it was nobody cared. It was a flash in the pan. By the time our movie came out, nobody cared.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty cool. I give Emily props for having to go up to Will Smith and say, "Oh, look at that alfalfa."
Yeah, I'm going to cut you off, Joe. Now, you've never really liked wides, but you told me that you liked that wide that we just saw right there.
Which line?
The one we were just watching with us on the stairway.
I'm not a line fan, but that was good. I like that one a lot. I love your alfalfa and the hair where your hair is popping up in the center. So I'm going to speak for Ryan. I'm Ron Miller. Ryan hates this scene.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not.
This is probably the scene that we almost could. We were close to cutting out of the movie completely. I mean, had the movie not already been running an hour and 15 minutes, this scene would be gone because it doesn't really drive the story. It just sets up that Ira's panicking, and then it's just awkward. And I mean, you don't see his face. You just.
The main thing that we were like, okay, do we need this or not, is that Victor and Famke, it's never really said that they're coming to the party, and so that's the reason Donnie's calling here. You probably could have just had them at the party, and people would just expect, okay, they're friends, and so they would be there. Yeah. That's really the only thing you gain out of this. Whether or not you need it, I don't know. But this part actually at the end is kind of funny, this little humping motion, but that's pretty much the only thing I like about it.
You would like the humping motion.
I like the humping motion, but it was hard. It was hard not having John there. I mean, Joe was feeding me the lines, but it just didn't really. But whatever, it's over now. So here we go.
Yeah, it is over. Now we're moving on. I love this part.
Well, Joe likes this because there's
No,
grass bouncing.
What? No, maybe. Okay. Maybe a little bit. Let's just pay attention. Okay, anyway, so
I love Emily's face. Can I just say that? Like, her face right there is so annoyed and just, it's amazing.
I love it. You know, that line actually is supposed to come earlier, and she came up to me and she's like, Joe, I didn't say the sex line. I was like, oh, and so we started thinking about it, and we're like, you know what? Let's throw it in when you get the top. And so she was still able to get that whole, I'm going to go have sex with this director guy and try to get a part, you know, and which will come in later as a bigger joke. But luckily she caught it, because after 50 or 30 or 70 hours of filming, I never would have noticed that she didn't even say it. I'm lucky at this point I'm even still alive.
I'm trying to remember when Emily's segment was here. I think it was the first weekend on the second day. Because a lot of the party scenes were at night, the opening and closing party scenes, and then
It's
a lot
all
of
blur to me.
Yeah, I think it was the Sunday of the first weekend that she was there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the theater, this joke got lost when she says the Maggie line, because Kelly smacks her leg as she's stepping down, so it kind of buries the line. But apparently she does not like to be called Maggie, and it's funny because like one of my good friends there, her name is Maggie, and I always wondered, I wonder what Maggie thinks of this. I wonder if she's really like, no, it's okay to be called that. These retarded jokes at first made me uncomfortable. I was like, but then when you explain it, it works. But at first I'm like, I hope the audience doesn't like start to get upset.
No, I think she pulls it off really well because she has that innocent, naive.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm looking for my purse. I walk directly towards it, but no, I can't see it.
It's like an innocent stupidity almost.
Yeah, like the innocent blonde, where you're like,
sitting right there on the ground.
So here we got the watch again that they're gonna find. That's actually that's my pocket watch actually.
I love that Emily is like, she says, I don't know why I would go upstairs, so she just threw it out. She actually says in the movie, I don't know why I'm going upstairs. So like, maybe I left it upstairs for some reason. That's such a good job.
Look at her face.
So this scene we kind of had to rearrange because it was getting kind of late. We're supposed to see Desmond, and I still wish we could. It works, but we had to let Desmond go. I did him a favor because he hadn't done anything for 7 hours, and it was going to be another few hours before we got to this point. So we said, well, we'll just cover the body up, and we don't need the visual.
If I recall, in the original script, we didn't have Allison laughing, and I remember you guys were doing a rehearsal or something, and I was watching or listening, and I was like, why is Allison laughing? But you know what? It works so much better having her like give that different level that I take back anything bad I said about that particular shot originally. Originally, I hated it, but then I loved what you ended up doing in the end.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
At this point, they would just kind of start laughing at her, or at least she would anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you got to laugh at some point, right? You got to like just like
yeah.
Like you're laughing at the absurdity of the entire movie, and that's what made it so great.
Oh yeah.
Did we talk about the jewelry at all and how wonderful your wife was with the jewelry?
I have not. I will though. I obviously.
The party scene kind of brings it out.
I was gonna say the party scene is the scene where you really start seeing the jewelry. Although I will say, if anybody sees that necklace, it's missing to this day.
Really?
Yeah, from the shot, that necklace is missing.
Oh.
I love that he's been hiding in the closet that whole time. Picture just came out of the closet. That just sets up who. Oh, so a lot of people ask me, how did she get it clean that quickly? Guys, she flipped the cushion. Okay, she flips the cushion and is just cleaning up an old stain. She's not actually cleaning the blood off the couch.
Oh please, she's just that good.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody's that good. He's foreign.
This scene took Kelly a while to get right.
Yeah. This scene, if I recall, was the second day of filming after a 23-hour day. And,
yes, and the next morning, this is the first thing that we're filming, and I'm exhausted. Okay, backstory on this, too, is I had just started my doctorate program for school, and so I was already tired coming into doing this, and then that morning, this was a scene that I had rehearsed with Ryan how many times?
We auditioned people for this scene.
Yeah, like I knew this scene, and there was something about it when we were filming.
Yeah. This scene was from the beginning.
I knew she knew it, but it was just every few seconds. It was like, I just can't.
You looked at this scene more than others. In fact, Heidi, before we cast her as Martha, you auditioned for Allison with this scene.
I remember.
Heidi probably knows these lines.
I was so mad at myself because there was just this block. I'd get to a certain point, and the rest of the scene was gone. Couldn't remember it, didn't exist, wasn't in my brain.
This was the exact reason why, though, that we should not have shot that other scene at 6 a.m. earlier when we were talking about it. This is an exact reason why. You've got to give your actors a few hours to recharge their battery, which is their brain. Because if you just keep going, eventually they just turn to mush.
And I did. This was shooting this scene. I was mush.
Ryan and I have learned how to push people to the limit and beyond. So, because Ryan Kelly and I, all three movies, we've done 20-hour days, every single movie we've ever done. So it becomes kind of natural and part of the plan. But there is something to be said about rest and how important it is. I just like how she just keeps chasing him around the couch. We didn't do a whole, but blocking was hard enough. Like, the lines were hard enough. We really couldn't go any further with blocking.
That was all I could handle.
That's all I could handle. Just chase him around. Up.
I love that moment. I feel like it's a very fun, playful moment that just happened between the two of us. We were so frustrated with each other in real life that I think it played really well.
Oh, God, here it comes, Joe. Oh, no.
Oh, no, you're right. Our least favorite.
Oh, that's so horrible. It's horrible.
So, for those of you who don't know, that shot, so the way this shot starts here, when we filmed it the night we filmed this is how it started, just this floating head. Floating there. And so Ryan and I, like, after we edited the movie, we're like, this head just floats here. Like, we don't understand why it's just floating. And so we had to go back and reshoot her in the wheelchair, and it's just our least favorite shot of the movie. The rest of the shot is awesome, with people crossing, and you got the party and the shots, and you got the dialogue, and everything is good up except that opening pan up.
I love that people miss it, but the moment that Ira takes the drink from the guy in the background with the apron on, that's Brian McConnell. Like, he just steals this drink.
Oh, yeah.
Brian was our craft services guy. He took care of feeding us. And I love that moment when he just steals the drink because it comes in later when Brian takes it back.
Oh, here we got Heidi doing her thing.
Sorry, I had my dog is eating the couch again.
So over the time, and one thing... one thing I wanted to do, we got so behind with filming, is we wanted to get some party ambiance. And I wanted to have a scene where Martha is chewing out the chef, Brian, for not cooking something right, and that was just something we didn't get to do because that would be her character to do that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun.
I love this with Ryan just rambling and rambling.
Oh boy, yeah. Another thing, I don't even think anything was scripted. It just, I wasn't sure what it just says. Ira rants.
It must have been so hard for Tiffany to keep a straight face.
Oh, and you see, John in the background, he's totally, watching, oh, my God. Donnie in the background's like, what is this guy doing? Ira is losing it. And I love how you, tell him your wife is a racist. And, it's a great rant. And again, this is when we talked about the jewelry. This is the scene where you see everybody together. The jewelry, the costumes, the costume design, everything we did to make this movie comes together in this scene. This is remnants, has remnants of Clue, which is kind of what we talked about earlier on, right?
Yeah, it does have a very old school kind of classic feel, especially the scene we'll see after where we're standing around in the living room once you just get the core characters in the costumes. I like it a lot.
Not to mention that you are like a seriously Woody Allen in this entire movie, but it really does have a classic feel to it. This is one of the shots that Ryan and I did, if I recall. And
this was pretty
we
late.
have a cross focus, which is like one of the few times we do it in the movie where like she goes out of focus, they go in focus, and then it's going to switch back to her. We bought this really cool follow focus tool. We're like, yeah, we're going to use it. We used it twice. I would every single scene, I'd take it over to the director of photography and be like, use it. He's like, well, I don't need it. Like, use it. Just put it on the camera so I think you're using it.
not to mention the light monitor we bought that cost $100 that we never used.
Not once. Didn't even pull it out. Yeah.
So here we go. Let Heidi talk about the scene because she kind of, in a sense, controlled this scene because of the actions that she's doing here. So.
Oh yeah.
Best necklace, by the way.
Specific. We had to orchestrate this so precisely. Remember?
Well, yeah, we only had the one cake.
Yeah, we have one cake. You have one cut. Don't mess it up.
And all coming in and the crosses and grabbing for this and talking in that and touching this and picking the knife up just so.
And that's the first time you kind of get this idea that something's like when he says we're making a killing in here. You know, it's kind of like, wait, that's not what you would say when you're raising money for your handicapped daughter. You know, it's the first time that you kind of get a sense something's not right. I love Emily coming here.
Right?
Get out of my way.
There she goes.
And you hear John in the background. Do we have forks? Forks anywhere? Somewhere? Hey, look, it's John in the background right there. You can't tell. That's the Return to Role-Playing poster on the wall. I know these things because I made that happen.
Victor was here, and he was trying to get the body back or something. I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense, but they did it.
They killed Marco in our apartment. Why are they trying to get the body out?
I don't know, but I think they're still planning to do it now.
Right now at the apartment?
I like the way John kind of pops in here right after this. It's a creeper moment. I know we talked a lot about that in our Shuttersome commentary, but here comes a creeper right there. Kind of pops in right there.
There's a really good one coming up that I like a lot, where it's just like you'll see in a little bit where everybody just kind of creeping into the moment.
And here we got Emma.
Here comes Sarah Banis.
Yeah.
So we've seen her for now the third time.
Yeah.
Again, great costume, beautiful jewelry. Everybody had great jewelry, though. Like we said, it's just I just love what we did with production design in this movie. It's my favorite so far of everything we've done.
Also, Heidi, you did hair extensions, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun with those. I really wanted to just pull them out at some point.
Hour 47, 48, 49.
Shock everybody.
There was a creeper moment here.
Yeah. I thought you might have been talking about that. Where
there's another one coming up. It's a really good one too.
So this is what I'm supposed to. He gives her cake, and we were supposed to knock it out of their hand, but we didn't want to ruin the thing, so we're like, we got to come up with something else. And I was like, all right, I'll just.
Here's creeper moment number 2 in this shot right here.
Oh, good. Shut up, Ira, okay? I think we should confront them. No, it's because I want to know what happened. Why do you care what happens? We don't even know who we're going
When they yell at each other.
2?
Here it comes.
Oh! So if you had the drinking card, Ira puts cake in pants, you drink.
It was so funny to watch.
It was really hard.
Rings. That should be a drink.
Like really hard not to start busting up every time you did that.
So Wuna is in the background here. He's one of our executive producers.
And so is Tom.
Yeah, so is Tom. He's also an executive producer. Tom has a job. He's a detective, so he's following one of the characters. But Wuna just looks a little bit lost sometimes back there. I love it because it's just so natural. It's like just a naturally happening thing right now.
Oh, yeah.
That part.
Well, I think he also might be kind of lost too because Joe and I were trying to coordinate this entire party scene. If I recall, Joe, I think you just grabbed him and threw him over there and didn't really give him any direction. So he's just kind of like, what do I do? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I was trying to get him involved, but this here's the most chaotic scene where you've got one person coming, one person going, another person in there, and it's just, this is by far the best chaos that we've filmed in the entire movie. It's just like bang, 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 and I love it.
Yeah, I like Heidi over here, her character just like whipping into me. Who is this big, fat, ugly man who is ruining my party?
Heidi does an amazing job in this film, no doubt about it.
We've already been giving you kudos, Heidi, before you came on in your opening.
Just randomly decides I'm going to go in the closet to get better reception.
Yeah, that's
Everything can be better reception, right?
That's where I go to get good reception, is the closet.
Sure it is. That's why.
Apparently, when Victor gets good reception too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I'm absolutely ruined.
If he says the word shit, drink. One.
This scene, I didn't really notice it filming, and when I watched the playback, it was like 12 shit.
We could have like a shit counter.
On the DVD chapter menu, that scene's going to be just titled shit. But it's on the other one's going to be titled Cake in the Pants. I'll come up with some funny things.
And this is where, like, I gotta get out of here.
Oh, I have to comment and say the guitar that's in the background is my dad's guitar that he has had for many years.
Well. It fits so well into our set. I'm glad you brought that.
Yeah, nice production touch.
Exactly. That was a very nice touch. It's like running into a wall right there.
Right?
I know, I wish we could have played that up more because that's exactly what I was thinking, like just this big wall right there.
My favorite scene is coming up in the... Well, I have a lot of favorite scenes. I love this movie. But there's some... I love it now, but wait until later and maybe I won't love it as much. But I love this movie. One of my favorite scenes is coming up here. I love this too. Like, again, if we had time, I would have liked to have rehearsed you two, Ira and Allison, and your like movements when you're like setting out the points. Like, watch. It could have been like really well choreographed. We just time-wise missed it.
Yeah, this was getting pretty late. This was at least
super late. If I recall, this is like moving into midnight late, like 12, 13, 14 hours. And we still have 7 or 8 more hours to go.
Everyone was a trooper. Some of I think the crew maybe lost it a little bit. I mean, of course, they're working harder than the actors, but actors, man, everyone was pretty
troopers.
Yeah.
A+ all around.
Yeah, I would say so. No one ever really complained. And John D'Antona, if I recall, like he canceled like a rehearsal or something the next morning because we were going so late. He was real committed.
He was dead. Dead. That's it.
I love the music you chose here too, by the way. Just like
yeah.
Right here is where I'm talking about the choreography, where Kelly's gonna lay down the points, and it's like if you guys are on choreography, like on point, it would have been great.
He was dead on our floor, but then we found his watch, and he was here when we had
I kind of like the delayed reaction from Ira, though.
You're right. It is funny.
To keep up with you and support you, and yeah.
All right.
Woo! Sorry. I love this part right here.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Deviating from the point here.
Such a typical sister moment, right? Like,
yeah,
oh my God, you did get that bed. There's a dead body laying right there.
Here it comes. Yeah.
Oh my God!
Emily screaming just makes me smile.
So I had a couple people ask, "Oh my God, is that the killer that just ran out the door?" It's like what we didn't hear in the theater, unfortunately, which you hear now, is she yells, "Dead body!" and he gets up. He's like, "Oh my God!" and he's the only one that hears it, and then everybody else hears it. And maybe not the best. We just maybe didn't clean that up as good as we should have, but it's hilarious. But I'm pretty critical of this scene. I think it's kind of funny, but it lingers a little too long for my taste. Like, I love that right there, and that's where it should have ended.
Yeah, we got.
But I mean, he's funny. I mean, he does a great job. It's just it kind of lingers that shot a little.
We
too
also
long.
we do need it to kind of linger because we got to get the actors in their positions. So.
Right. Although
You
it
know,
does look like you cut a little bit there from the last time I think I've seen it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a cut. Yeah.
What's going on?
So in a little bit here, we're gonna get we're gonna get the spotlight on Heidi. Heidi, we were talking about how much you really brought to this film with your audition.
The audition is what started it. It changed it changed our movie.
Really?
It kind of did.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Your reveal here of your character's other side.
It was. I mean, you left. I was said earlier that you left the audition, and I went to Ryan, and I was like, "Well, she has to play Martha."
Yeah.
First time an audition has ever changed our movie. Like, it literally changed the writing. We rewrote it because of your audition.
Well, I went back and I was like, she did this thing where she broke out into the accent. I said, it makes perfect sense because con artists, why can't we do something like this? And the only person that kind of sucked for was John Zuber, who had been cast as Donnie, and we're like, hey, by the way, you're going to be doing a Boston thing, and then he couldn't do it, so we switched it. But
It's too bad John's not here because I remember we were doing the read through the table read for the first time, and I'm like 5 minutes beforehand, hey John, by the way, when it comes to the part, you're going to do a Boston accent. And he's like, what?
What? They're hard. They're very tricky. But that was so much fun.
This was the hardest scene for me as an editor to color balance. Hands down, this scene was horrible color balance. I hate it.
This was obviously just the hardest scene to edit. I mean, we edited everything else, maybe with the exception of the opening scene, so quickly, and we spent how many weeks on this one just back and forth. And
At one time, Ryan's original vision was it would be 2 shots. You'd have the wide from the left and the wide from the right, and you just go between the two, and it was just like, no, Ryan, this isn't going to work. Like, you got to get in there. You got to see these people.
Well, I kind of came around because it was actually a little bit of Stephen Orlow wanted to do it like that, and of course I love that kind of stuff, and I was, let's try it. But the more I thought about it, this is going to go on forever. Like we should probably do tights as much as I don't like to do them. Like, it's really the only way to do it.
This is what, 15 minutes? This scene?
It goes on for a long time.
We call this scene 10. This is 15-minute scene.
Oh yeah.
This is the only movie where you only have 10 scenes in the movie. Like, I mean, we were very clear that there's specific scenes. Yeah, you could probably cut them down a little bit further, but there's 10 scenes in this movie.
Do you guys remember how hard it was for us all to remember our lines?
Oh God.
Yeah, well, that was another reason that the whole wide thing would never have worked. I mean, it's.
And you know what? Part of that is because we've never rehearsed as an entire team. So you don't know how, like, you're in your head you're thinking of a line, but Victor's saying it a different way than you've ever heard it in your head, and so it's hard to, like, remember what you're supposed to say when you're listening to him say it in Russian when you've been reading it in English. I just think that was just a matter of we needed more rehearsal. But yeah, this was a tough scene.
Yeah.
This is
She's
what
actually
God's,
yawning right there. She's not actually, like, covering her mouth like, oh my God. I think she's yawning.
I don't remember. I might have been.
You might have. No, I'm saying, you literally probably were yawning right there.
This is what got us behind for the party scene. This took like all day.
This was the hardest scene we shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love that I'm just going to use the word bitchiness that, like, Martha has right there, just this stuck-up, kind of pretentious, and it completely goes the other way in a few minutes.
Having worked with Heidi, I would work with her any day of the week.
We're going to make it happen again.
We're going to make it happen again.
Every day of the week.
Any day of the week. As long as she's willing to work 20 hours, we're willing to work with her.
Hey, it wasn't so bad. It's amazing how many people are in this, and you have, like, one little line next to somebody else's, and it's like an orchestra trying to play.
Yeah.
I actually think that was the problem. Everybody knew their lines, but they didn't know their cue lines.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, the cue lines that was the hard part.
We let them go. We didn't know.
That right there is like one of those lines where it's like he kind of flubbed it, but he covered it up really well.
Well, everyone kind of has their own like section of this scene. I mean, Ira and Allison kind of are in it, you know, on and off because it centers around them. But you got Victor and Famke right now. Then we're going to bounce to Bernie and Margaret, and then you guys, Donnie and Martha, are going to have your part. So everyone's got a chunk, and then we got Whitney Payton, which we'll talk about her, the girl in the wheelchair there. She's going to have her moment.
Whitney did a good job for a young actress.
Yeah, she doesn't do a whole lot, but she gets one big laugh that's coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so here we're going to bounce. We're kind of off Victor and Famke now. Now we're going to get these two.
I like how everybody has their own, like, potential to be the murderer at this point. So you really, like, everybody's still, I think, leaning towards Heidi or towards, Famuka, whatever her name was, and Victor.
Everybody said it differently.
I think everybody's leaning that way at this point, but everybody has a chance.
Well, and if you recall, I mean, I think before anybody except maybe Kelly, who we might have sent it to beforehand, the original murderers were Victor and Famke.
That's right.
The twist was that Donnie and Martha are scamming them, and it worked that way. We had it set to go that way for a little while, and then the more Joe and I just kind of kept talking back and forth as producers, we said we should kind of up the antes here and really bring everybody else into it as a possibility, and we ended up, you know, choosing the person who...
Earmuffs.
Yeah,
Right?
That's an ad-lib as well. That was one of those ad-libs that happened on set.
Ugly, unclassed dick.
Oh, boy.
Here she goes.
She's young.
I like that, yeah.
That's right.
Smuggler in the world. Well, I guess I should say he was the best drug smuggler.
The house is so great.
Oh, they were so awesome. Paul and Gina. I don't know them that great, but I love them. I love them. I don't even know them.
They're big movie fans, and they're big supporters of me, you know, running this company.
Exception of all the Dodger stuff on the walls, I really like them. That did bring them down a notch in my book.
For all we know, you killed the guy.
Yeah. Duh. Margaret. I don't think Margaret's smart enough to kill anybody.
She's not. There's a funny line about that later.
So I think this is the shot where when you look at it, everybody's in great costume. Everybody's got amazing jewelry.
Yeah.
This is the shot where it's like Clue 2.0, like where we always talked. It's kind of like Clue meets Weekend at Bernie's. So it's kind of how I always kind of played it up early on. It's Clue meets Weekend at Bernie's, except for where you're not moving a dead body around, where everybody would realize he's actually dead, but you're still talking to him. It's just Weekend at Bernie's is the stupidest movie ever made. But this is like Weekend at Bernie's melded in with Clue.
So here's Heidi's moment.
Yeah.
You guys.
Why are you talking like that? Well, we ain't exactly been who we said we've been all these years.
We moved our operation from
Down south. So
I love it.
yeah, John added the down south because he couldn't actually do a Boston accent. He's like, how about I say we went down south a little bit there so I can use my Western accent? Done. But this is like the moment where it's like a big switch. Like Heidi went from like a classy uptown girl to all of a sudden a down in the ghetto Boston chick who's like, I'll beat your ass right now. Like, I'll take you down. I do it in a Boston accent, but nobody wants to hear it.
And talking about like the film when I was playing it up to people, like we couldn't really talk about this because you know Heidi might give my favorite performance in this movie, but I couldn't really talk a lot about it because Martha, the stuff I was allowed to talk about is kind of boring, you know, because you have this twist, and it was just kind of like you'll have to come and see, and this is it for me right here.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
I love that part. We were about to steal stolen wine? Pretty much. Yep, you were.
It was so much fun to change the physicality of Martha. You know,
Yeah.
and all her facial expressions besides her voice.
We got to.
Oh my gosh, she's dead!
Yeah, that's Whitney's moment.
Had we not seen the shot where we like established she's in a
Emily.
wheelchair?
It's a miracle.
No.
I love though that Emily this entire time actually thinks that this is a miracle. Like, oh my God, she just stood for the first time.
I was gonna say we joke about the drinking games here, Heidi. I don't know if you did this, but Joe and I were bouncing back and forth with this during editing. The number of times that Martha flips the bird to people.
That could be a game alone. Every time Martha flips her finger, like gives the bird, you drink. You'll be drunk by the end of this movie just for fucking 10 alone.
That's hilarious.
Well, yeah, she might have already done it a few times, but it was like we counted one time. It's like we got it here, we got it here, we got it here.
If you watch the original footage, she's gonna do it more than a few times.
Yeah.
She's a tough cookie.
I think it's right here. Watch, you'll see it. Where is it? Right.
There it is.
Take a drink.
Bird. Bird is the word.
Oh, hello.
Like the ghetto hand moves right there.
And then Miss Emma. Oh wait, there's his fingers. Wait, is that a gun or is that his fingers? I love that. I'm not sure where I've seen this like play out before. Like, show me your gun. I'm not gonna show you my gun. Show me your gun. But this is hilarious.
Gun comes into play now, right here.
And John, I was a little bit hesitant with John when he first auditioned, but he pulls this off so well in the end.
Oh yeah.
He really brought it, and I thought he was awesome.
Here's one of my favorite ad libs right here from Brian Donahue. Yeah.
Right there.
He does have a gun. I was like, he said, "Can I say that?" I was like, "You have to." Why didn't I think of that? That should be in the script, but it wasn't. It should have been, but I didn't think to put it.
Yeah.
Somebody killed that guy. He didn't.
I love how he goes through everybody like, well, it couldn't be you. And
Tried to make them the big chicken.
This was the part, Joe, you said you got, I don't really want to say it was like criticism, but some people were kind of saying like, oh, it was too cliche how to host a murder party, and we're thinking, well, that's kind of the point here, obviously. Like, we're so cliche murder mystery at this point.
I heard it referred to as a murder mystery, like, like how to host a murder party, and this part here is part of it. But I think it's great. I think it plays it well.
it's supposed to be slapstick.
Although I'm not certain exactly, we're going to hear a line here. I'm not exactly sure what it means, even today. Hang on, I'll wait for it.
It's the butt
It's a butt dart. Did you already say it? Did I miss it?
Yeah, he says
It's
butt
a
knife.
butt dart. What's that mean?
I don't know what it means.
This here I think could have been choreographed better. As a producer, I look at this, I could have been choreographed a little tighter, but it worked out well in editing. I'm sorry, it was never loaded. I'm a big bitch. Oh, here they come, the detectives. Do we see Tom standing in the hallway, or did we get rid of that?
Oh, we got rid of that.
There was a time where you could see Tom standing in the hallway, just standing there waiting.
So here this is Adam's scene.
It's my brother Adam Varon, and yeah, he does a decent job, except for he speaks like William Shatner. Just without the accent. Other TikToks. In the end, we are. The killer is.
I never thought of that when he said.
Oh my God! It's the unexpected person.
It's the virginal deer.
So this was Sarah's big moment because she doesn't really have a lot of like big moments, obviously.
She's kind of quiet in the whole movie up until this point. And we talked about should they cuff her, should they not cuff her, and the logic behind it in the end was they're waiting for her to give the confession, so then they can cuff her because right now they're just saying it's you. So we made our own logic, whether the movie world believes it or not. This is our logic.
She's not going anywhere.
No.
Emily makes me laugh every time I watch this scene.
I know.
She's like shrieking against the wall, like ah!
And you can't see it. But he's like peeking around that thing and like cowering behind the drink.
I wish again. This is one of those things where if we had more time, I wish as she walks away, we could have gone back to Brian. Look, he's totally checking out her ass. There's a whole like love story that's supposed to take kind of place here at the end that Brian Donahue kind of like is like, I like this girl, she's awesome. And he like claps in the end, and we miss it because we're so focused on her. But I wish we had taken a second to get that clap like, hey, because that'd have been a great cut point and go back. And but
For some reason he came back and went to the door. I thought, this is it. I'm gonna kill this fucker right here.
this is a great monologue, though. I mean, it's it's a good monologue, and
Which made for the opportunity for you to be the perfect Cassie.
I like how he grabs her cheek and. But so the perfume thing was a whole entire thing. We talked about was we had to have more than just a murder weapon. There had to be another reason for these two to believe that they were the murderers, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a reason for Ira and Allison, not just to call the cops, and it had to be more than just the murder weapon. And so it was kind of the only thing we come up with was perfume.
Originally, we thought it was a pretty cold lead, but we did a little investigation of our own after we went missing this morning. We found out you were attending a party here tonight. So, Miss Connolly, you're under arrest.
Oh!
Too bad.
And there she goes, off into the. Here goes. There's probably at least another 2 fingers in there we missed.
Oh yeah.
And this is a great shot. So everybody's like, "Oh my! I was just kidding when I said all those things I said. I'm totally kidding."
I think I'm adventured out for a while.
Aw, Miss I Need Adventure is adventured out.
Too bad.
Honey, I mean, you were really brave.
You were brave. You were brave. You kind of were. You jumped in front of the bullet, and you were brave. And
Well, this is supposed to be. This is the romantic scene that I wanted to play with a serious, because then I drop her and it's really funny.
It's just hilarious. So when we talked about this, Ryan's like, we need to have at least one good moment before, we gotta have a fun moment here at the end.
Oh yeah.
Now there were a bunch of pillows down there, although I do believe that Kelly missed the pillows. One of the takes hit her elbow, if I recall.
Yep.
Best ending to any movie.
Oh yeah.
Had to be the cake.
I told you he's gonna throw up on him.
I would have. It's a perfect, great cut. I love, and we're gonna see it here in a second. I have been drilling on Ryan for years. Ryan, you can't just end in a credit sequence, okay? That every layman does that. We need something more. Every good movie needs to end with some sort of blooper reel, or good movies do that. Three Amigos, I don't think did that, but most good movies do that.
I did this.
M.R. Buckle. I don't know that guy. I apparently hate my movie.
He's a good editor.
Yeah.
This was done for Joe. I'm not a fan of the,
I think it's got a. Wait, he cast
I think it has its place.
Wait, who cast this movie?
I feel like this movie fits
there is
it.
real stuff happening, things that are awesome.
It does work for this movie.
It was really, to me, it was much more important in Ira or in JPRS. If you watch Johnny, Pam, Ronnie, and Sam, that was a dark, dark, dirty, disgusting, horrible movie. So the last thing we could do is leave you with the fun, uplifting, blooper reel. And because of issues with editing and this or that or whatever, I'm not even going to get into the story. We couldn't do it, but it would have been nice to have this at the end of JPRS. It might have made people laugh. It would have been the first natural laughs we got in the film.
I agree with you on that. And Joe, as you know, I'm a fan of Siskel and Ebert when they did their show, and they have said, and others have agreed, and I do kind of agree with this, that bloopers, and this isn't necessarily bloopers, so this is kind of different. It's really just showing behind the scene footage. But I know you have always wanted bloopers. They have said, and I do kind of agree, that they believe bloopers to be an act of desperation. Did I make a good enough movie? Well, I don't know, so let's throw on bloopers at the end. So I've always kind of been against that. But with JPRS, I might actually do that, because I had that thought, did we make a good movie? I don't know. Maybe we should have done bloopers. So I can't really, but this one I don't think it's necessary. But this isn't really bloopers. This is behind the scenes. And
yeah.
I guess for this kind of film, we're a low-budget production company, I think the audience kind of liked this. I know, Kelly, you didn't know that this was going to be on there, and you were kind of excited when you saw this. So yeah.
Again, I'll give a little bit of credit to Nick. It's a great song he wrote here. It's perfect for our movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did write this.
Yeah. Things aren't going your way. It's
No.
time to look for another avenue or something like that. But anyway, everybody who came out tonight to watch us live, which was zero viewers throughout the day. We'll pretend like there was hundreds of thousands. But anyway, I really do appreciate everybody for coming out. I want to thank Ryan and Kelly and Heidi for showing up tonight to do their commentary. And I hope you enjoyed the movie. We look forward to many successful things with it. And as a team, I think we finally have broken through the barrier, and I think we made a good movie. And I'm excited to say that we finally did something that I think is worth watching.
Yeah.
Ryan, any last words for you, sir?
No, we actually still got a couple of minutes here.
Oh, Jesus.
I know. Well, we can. This is really the time to start telling stories, because it is fun kind of watching these behind-the-scenes footage. You know, you can kind of see what happened. But why don't we take this opportunity, Joe? We got a minute and a half to give a shout-out to some of our crew members by name. We've talked about Anna and her art direction. We've talked about Brian. Talked a little bit about Steve Orlo, cinematographer, his first film. But guys like Frank Musa.
Yep.
And Christopher Fellis, who Chris was our AC, Frank was our cameraman, one of our head cameraman. We all kind of played a part in that. But what about Alex Merrick? We haven't really talked about her.
Alex, you did a great job with the makeup.
We talked about the jewelry that was provided by
You
Jamie.
did a great job with the jewelry. Which is Stella and Dot. If you're interested, you can hit her up anytime. All that jewelry you saw was for sale, by the way.
Yeah. And people like Steven's cousin who came out that second weekend.
And then Steven's sister?
Steven's sister who did some the videography that you're watching. Juan Lau was one of our grips who just kind of showed up and jumped in.
Tell me, what's that dude's name?
The what?
Juan Lau.
Juan Lau Lu. So that
Lau.
about does it. I think we got everybody.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Well, hang on. We can go to black. We can come back to each other.
Oh.
Watch. We got a few seconds. We're gonna just have a final thank you for. Oh. Hey! Thank you guys for coming out here today. I appreciate everybody who watched. So yes, thanks to the cast, the crew, to everybody that helped out. This is the best film we've done.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's very exciting. So Ryan, again, any last words?
No, I'm curious to see how this turns out and whether or not we're going to use this or just rip the audio. I'd like to use this. I think this was a fun idea.
I would have to agree. Kelly, how about you? Any last words for you?
This was an interesting way to do the commentary, actually. I kind of enjoyed it in some ways.
I wish we could have given people more notice to have some more people there, because there were some people who were disappointed they couldn't make it. But yeah,
there's also a couple of people who said they'd take it.
Yeah, there was a couple of people who were supposed to be on here and who weren't, but
that's all good.
That's the way it goes.
Well, guys, I thank you everybody for coming from Nerd Boy Productions, Deep Grade Productions, and R Todd Productions. I want to thank everybody for showing up here tonight and making this a successful event. Again, if you had the drinking card every time Joe says something stupid, you probably are pretty drunk by now. Until next time.
All right.
We're coming. Oh wait, wait. Oh my God, I almost blew this. Hang on. Thanks everybody for coming out. We enjoy everybody's time. It's been a great. Love you all. Until next time.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.